Medham me Indro dadatu Medham Devi Saraswati Medham me Asvinavubhau Adhatam Pushkarasrajaha Apyayantu mamangani Vak pranaschakshotramadho balamindriyani ca sarvani sarvam brahmopanishadam maham brahma nirakuryam brahma nirakarot anirakaranamastu anirakaranamastu tadatmani niradeya upanishadsu dharmaha te maye santo om shanti shanti shanti. As in every year, for this MayCall, our Spanish brotherhood, Germans, and the World Teacher Trust Global have brought out certain publications which I feel is my pleasant duty to present to the group. Presenting these books during the group life is considered as presentation at the feet of the Master. I request Brother Valentin to come over here and distribute the books to those who have contributed for realization of each of these books. First we shall work with the Spanish, later the German, and then the English. Kindly come over. The first book that is being released is The Golden Stairs Commentary. In this cycle, the work is commenced by Madame Blavatsky as early as 151 years ago, and it is in continuation of that work, the work is happening. The Golden Stairs by themselves are systematized approach to practice of wisdom in daily life that would result in realizing the Golden Temple in us. These teachings were given in Argentina, and they found their expression in English, later in German. Now they are also published with the same vibration and same dedication. So these books may kindly be distributed by Valentine by inviting the members who contributed for their realization. You can stand here, call them and give it to them.
Josep Paradell, María José Delgado, María Virulés y Enrique Casanovas. Como no ha podido venir Enrique, se lo cojo.
Then there is the understanding of teacher as is given in the Vedic tradition, which is regularly sung during morning hours by every aspirant, which we also sometimes do in the West and regularly do in the East, which is Pratareva hi manasa antarbhavayet gurupaduka. The meaning of the 12 stanzas that are dedicated by Adi Shankaracharya to the most sublime concept of teacher. Those stanzas are commented upon for the benefit of aspirants, where Adi Shankara propounds there is only one teacher, and that teacher is the male-female God, and through whom there is a hierarchy of teachers take place, and this hierarchy of teachers lead the beings to the one male-female God. In his male form he is Brahman, in his female form he is the cosmic nature. The 12 stanzas contain around 100 qualities of the teacher and how the teacher leads the aspirants to the most sublime state of self-realization and samadhi. These books also have come first in English, later in German, and now they are brought out by our Spanish brothers for the benefit of Spanish community, which is really a very vast community spreading over nations. And this may also be distributed from this stage in the presence of the Master.
Jordi Cos.
And then Ayurvedic principles for daily practice, which enable to keep a good functional health and a health that carries the needed vitality. These are simple principles which were earlier, initially given when we commenced with the Vaishak newsletter. In the Vaishak newsletter, some of these principles have been given on a monthly basis, since they are found useful to the members of the group. They are all collected into a book in the same rhythm that they came in English. later in German. Now they come about in Spanish. Ayurveda is getting more and more acceptance in the West, while almost its importance is being ignored in the East due to disappearance of knowledge as it would happen in this cycle of time. Many aspects of eternal values given in the ancient wisdom, they are more finding their expression in the West, which is also known as early as 1800, year 1800. It is the wish of the masters of wisdom that the knowledge of the East travels towards the West, and where it gets systematized and preserved. So Ayurveda today is much more respected in Europe and in the American continent than it is in India, for the simple reason familiarity breeds contempt. If a very valuable thing is very proximate and is almost available at hand's reach, man tends to neglect it and look for distant things. What the value in the proximity is ignored, and the value at a distance is craved. That's how during times of British rule, slowly Ayurveda was finding its disappearance, with allopathy getting into Indian subcontinent. There was a time where it was systematically propagated that Ayurveda was not a science. It is a superstition, it is a belief, it is a tradition, it has no system, etc., etc. It's like every wisdom has its times of clouds, and it went through those clouds, and today it is getting more and more popularized in the West. Now that it is getting more popularized in the West, the Indian community is also dusting away the old books and then trying to refresh their knowledge and spring back. Many such things have happened. For example, yogasanas almost getting forgotten in the East. When picked up by the West, they are re-picked in the East. Many valuable things of India are now finding their value more in the Occident than in the Orient. But when it becomes acceptable to the Occident, the Orient quickly recollects and tries to catch up. This is how it has been happening with the Eastern wisdom. When it is more and more accepted in the West, the Eastern is seeing the value and in getting back to it. Except in very traditional remote families, this is the general trend. In India, yoga books were available for 2 rupees. 2 rupees. No one used to pay any attention to it. Books on Ayurveda were available at 5 rupees. No one paid attention to it. But when this knowledge went to West and came back in a highly presentable and pleasant form, people started buying them at 200, 300, 500 rupees. Sometimes, in the mundane plane, wisdom is recognized in such manner. So Ayurveda, as a dinacharya, is almost forgotten in India, and its deep value is seen in the West now. more and more people are turning to Ayurveda and homeopathy, and in that context, as early as in 88, in our newsletter, for the benefit of our members, certain tips on the principles of Ayurveda, how they can be taken into daily life. They were given and they are published, and now the Spanish version is also available.
Jordi Pomet, Ana Ceres,
Then we come to one of the very classical works done by Master Geseke in Geneva in the years 82 and 83. In the university premises, our group members found, with the cooperation of the university, a hall where there were about 20 members that were participating in lessons relating to Purusha Sukta. Purusha Sukta is said to be the king of the Vedic Suktas. It speaks of the cosmic person, his genesis and his expression even unto the humans. In each one of us there is the cosmic person in the micro form, all the 15 cosmic intelligences. And the macro form was originally formed, which is called Adam Kadman or Vishnu or Amadeus in different systems by different names. This cosmic person is the basis for formation of creation from the state of Mahat. Before, Mahat was there, and in the Mahat there were 27 basic elements which are the basis for creation. These 27 elements constitute themselves into a cosmic egg. The cosmic egg details into a cosmic person who is called the heavenly man. And through this heavenly man is the one whom the Devas sacrifice as a beast to create what we see as this creation. And it is from this cosmic person everything comes out, and ultimately from out of the cosmic person the human also comes out. The whole theme is given in 15 strophas, in 15 slokas, in 15 ruks in Purusha Suktam, and later, but in 12 strophas he is praised and worshipped. That's how Purusha Suktam has 27 strophas. The significance of this is known to the seers of all times. And Madame Blavatsky writes in her books that Purusha Suktam is the king of the Suktas, and Sri Suktam is the queen of the Suktas in Rigveda, which contains almost 11,600 Suktams. Rigveda contains 11,600 and odd Suktams explaining the cosmic, the solar and the planetary manifestations. In all those Suktams there is the presentation of cosmogenesis and anthropogenesis. Among them, the most comprehensive one is called Purusha Sukta, meaning Purusha is the person, the cosmic person. It took 2 years for Master Geseke to briefly describe each of these strophas, and the seminar was conducted in Germany, in Geneva, in 82 and 83. I was also a participant in it. Later, these commentaries given by him with all the secrets contained in the suktams or in the hymns, they were rearranged, reorganized by me, and then represented in a readable form, and that was published very recently by the World Teacher Trust India, and later it has been adopted by our German brothers and now by the Spanish. These lessons on Purusha Sukta contain enormous wisdom, and this is not in its exhaustiveness. It's only to show how deep is a Vedic hymn and how a Vedic hymn has to be interpreted, contrary to the superficial interpretations. To interpret a Vedic hymn, one needs to carry the keys to wisdom. There are 7 keys to wisdom. One key is astrology, another key is chandas or metrical system, third key is etymology, fourth key is time cycles, fifth key is macro analysis, macro understanding, sixth key is micro understanding. Like that there are, and then there is the key of grammar, which relates to the alchemy of sounds. When all these keys are applied upon himself by a person, then only the suktam can be completely understood. So such a presentation was given by Master Geseke in a very joyful manner to a very small group. And it was for 2 years in 2 sessions. And when he came for the second time in 83, he redid the whole thing right from the beginning. And thus there were, for part of the hymns there were 2 commentaries, and for rest of it 1 commentary. All was taken together, rearranged and reorganized, and we printed it in India. It only gives the profundity of a Vedic hymn and how the Veda contains in it the related keys of wisdom, and how one has to approach when they approach not only Veda but any world scripture. To make an understanding of world scripture, one needs to have the knowledge of symbolism, knowledge of astrology, knowledge of etymology, knowledge of time cycles, knowledge of grammar, knowledge of utterance. Such of those are important to make a proper understanding of world scriptures. That's how the commentary was rendered. And Master Geseke was very emphatic in saying to those who follow him, he said, those who wish to follow the teachings of the secondary ashram, they would do better to daily sing Purusha Suktam and Sri Suktam. Just by utterance of these 2 suktams on a daily basis, one would find affinity with the ashram of the secondary, and then thereafter the related chemistry would happen in them to enable to unfold in them the wisdom. He was almost insisting on it, saying that you know it in its meaning or you don't know it, it's not important. It's important that you utter and listen to the sound. That's how he taught Purusha Suktam and Sri Suktam. And in continuation of his work, I also taught it to Indians and also to all the groups who were inclined to learn these 2 suktams. In fact, even in our group, many sing it. What is important is to utter forth and let the sounds work the chemistry in us. In Vedic Suktam, more than the meaning, the impact of sound causes the chemistry. That's the beauty of the sound, which is beyond the comprehension of light. The key of sound is such that its vibrations cause the necessary chemistry and enable unfoldment of the related centers. That's why we I have also later given 2 times commentary on Sri Suktam. In 83, when he gave commentary on Purusha Suktam, later he departed in 84 March. So when I came in 84 September to Geneva, in continuation of the work done by the Master, I have given commentary to Sri Suktam. Later, once again, I did the same work in one of the MayCalls in Switzerland. I think it was in Kandersteg that we redid it, and that also has now come out in English. The idea is secondary ashram work demands that we work with sounds which would enable us to gain the benefit of transformation much better than by our ability to comprehend with the dim light of the mind. The dim light of the mind can be reinforced through utterance of sound and listening to it. What is important is that we utter and we listen. Uttering and listening is the basic key for sound to cause the necessary transformation in us. In fact, even the books of Master Jwalkul very clearly say the key of sound is the future key. And he also says, he who knows the sound knows all. That such is the work of the sound. And these sounds are preserved mostly in the Orient, and they are lost in the Occident, even according to the Master Jwalkul. So these sounds are recommended to be given back to those who are inclined to work with them. So in that connection, this commentary, release of this commentary is also very relevant to enable the mind to gain the necessary orientation towards the cosmic sounds which are preserved in the ancient most language, namely Sanskrit. I congratulate the Spanish group for the excellent work that they have done. Ever since Valentine has taken over the work, the team is reformed with renewed inspiration, and a lot of books are forthcoming ever since. During the last 3 years they brought out so many books, and these books may also be distributed to those who have contributed for their realization.
Joan Bertrand Pérez, Elena García, otros para Nuria Martínez, que no ha podido venir, le pido a María Virulet que lo recoja. Conchi González y Sabina de la Paz.
Now our German brothers, they brought out the teachings of Sanat Kumara, the 24 teachings of Sanat Kumara, which are made available in English. Teachings of Sanat Kumara are ancient most teachings. They are comprehensive. They are complete by themselves. Every teacher has his own method of giving in a capsule form the whole wisdom, which when followed by the student will find himself going through the process of self-realization. Sanat Kumara taught these teachings and they are preserved in the Eastern scriptures. Sanat Kumara is the Lord of our planet, and he seldom speaks. He seldom speaks. But once he spoke to a king emperor to enable him to realize, since he was a king of extraordinary ability and righteousness. So the teachings, the 24 teachings are published in English, and they were so well accepted in so many places on the globe. And in fact, we had to bring a second edition and a third edition in a short period. And one of our members, they were inspired to make one complete edition, to contribute to one complete edition and ensure that they are made available free to those who seek it. In India, we get orders for 50 books at a time, so many times. They take it, they read it, and they feel that this is so very simple and easy to follow and helpful for self-practice in a very traditional, simple manner, without difficulty. So this version is now brought out in German language for the benefit of German reading public. I request our brother Gunta to kindly come over here and offer these books. Yeah. These books are sponsored by our sister Duarte. Please come, Gunta. She went through the teaching and she was so inspired that she said that I shall make contribution for realization. It's a singular contribution by Sister Duarte for realization of this work. And we all know how deep Duarte was in her commitment to the work of the masters and her practices relating to wisdom. In fact, the very proceedings yesterday were commenced in deep and fond memory of our sister Duarte. She is in a good journey, and she gladly, peacefully and joyfully and willingly left the physical abode and is making good strides of progress into the other world. And she did it so very gracefully, and it is very befitting that before she departed, she left such fragrance behind in the form of contribution to these books. I request our Gunta to say a few words about what happened between him and Duarte in bringing out these books, and also distribute them to those who are responsible for bringing them out.
First, I will give to Eka. The translation was made by Dorle. The proofreading was made by Doris, but I think today Peter Gronemeyer has his birthday, so I will give it to Peter Gronemeyer.
Have you the permission of Doris?
I have two more.
Okay.
So, Doris.
See, this is my husband.
Always surprising. And the last I will give to...
I wish she learns German and read the book.
Or maybe give it to Gayatri. She knows German and speaks German.
There is also...
I only will give an information. Everybody, because of the sponsoring, this book is sponsored, as you told, on MayCall Day, next Sunday. Everybody of the meeting will get one book.
Wow. That's really great.
So thanks to them.
Please stay on. There is another book. Incidentally, the teachings on Sanat Kumara came through during December call in Bangalore. That's how they found their expression into our groups. And now this is the path to immortality as is hidden in the energy of Venus. How Venus enables us to transcend from mundane to supermundane, and how the energy guides us in a very joyful, beautiful manner into higher state of beingness. These teachings were given very early in one of the group lives in Switzerland, and they have been once printed in German. They were all taken away, so a second print is called for. Consequently, the second print is brought out now during this MayCall. Kindly distribute to those who function for their realization.
So the first printing was given out in 1997, I just saw. And I remember the translation was also made by those good ladies, both and proofread. And there was such a big demand for it, and even pre-ordering for the second edition, so we had to print again. So I think all those who have contributed for books, I can distribute, because the first edition both have already.
Okay.
So, thanks to the Kupura group, I will give one to Christina and Ernst. Then, Miguel from, he speaks German from the Spanish group. For more contribution from Spanish people. I remember one new Spanish man, Wolf. And Crystal Gardner. And I see the last lady there, Tatjana Wagner.
In English, 2 books are realized for this MayCall. The first of it is Mercury the Alchemist. We have Uranus, the alchemist of the New Age. This is Mercury, the age-old alchemist. The teachings on Mercury were called forth by a Miami group as early as in 1999. And later, the transcription was done by our sister Rosie. When the teachings were given, she said, "Master, shall I transcribe it?" I said, "If you wish, you may." In 2001, she announced to me, "Master, in the MayCall which you conduct in Argentina, I wish that you conduct our marriage." I said, "I will conduct the marriage, provided you complete the transcription of Mercury, which was given in 1999. She took it as a joyful challenge, and said, I will do it, and I will give you the transcription at the MayCall. That's how it was given to me in 2001. Now we are in 2011. From time to time, she used to ask me what happened to Mercury. In 2001, in that MayCall, I delivered the teachings of Uranus. And that was her marriage time also. She was also married to our brother Alex in that MayCall. So after marriage, she said, Master, what can I do for you? I said, you may decide and let me know, because I don't decide for others. She said, I shall transcribe Uranus. So she also transcribed Uranus and sent it to me. But as it is true with Uranus, Uranus came faster than Mercury. Uranus was realized earlier, and it is really doing good work, especially in traditional societies. In India, the book Uranus is so well accepted by the modern minds who wish to have a fresh look at wisdom, because Uranus is Uranus. And the very captions are so inspiring. We released that book at the 100th MayCall. And now this Mercury, 2 years later, in his own style, he comes out for this MayCall, and the transcription was taken and redictated. Mostly what I do is, when transcriptions come to me, I take it into my hand and make redictation, which is almost a fresh dictation. That's how the books happen. Only the seeds are taken, but they are differently, in a different model, they are all expressed. If you go through the tapes, it is one thing. If you read the book, it is another thing. With respect to every book that has come to be, it's like that. Each time you express, it expresses itself afresh. So our sister Anna was available to me in India, and we planned a work for 14 days. But the whole work has happened in a mercurial way in a weekday's time. That gave us a thought, what else we can do, because we planned for a 2-week work. Then came the idea to also give out another book, which I will release now. So I request Anna to kindly come over here and distribute this book to those who have cooperated in realization of this work.
So first Rosie. And then it was proofread by Dorle. And it was proofread by Doris. And then, of course, Ramana, who proofreaded it and did the whole printing.
On the day we were leaving for Germany, on that day, the book was complete. And through DHL, he arranged for their transportation so that we all received the book here today.
And this copy will go to Irving. He has proofread the book as well, and maybe Rosie can send it to him, because he lives in Canada. He is not a member of the VCT, but he is participating in much work. He does proofreading as well for Paracelsus. So.
The book Mercury has many keys in it in the sense that it is the fulcrum. It is the fulcrum when we are in the center of Mercury. We are equally effective in the mundane and super-mundane worlds. Many good expressions are contained in that book. It looks short, but it looks small, 120 pages.
139 or something like that.
139 pages. But it has many good tips, and it's easy to read through because it's Mercurian. It gives a joyful reading, and even while dictating, it was so joyful that it went through so fast that it all happened just in a weekday's time. Now the much awaited book, many times it was asked by group members to give the marriage sacrament with some little commentary relating to the most sublime sacrament for human beings, which is marriage. And in fact, in our group, many are married through my hands because they loved the way the ritual is and the statements that are uttered forth and how it inspires even while one is going through the ritual when they are getting married. More than 70 couples in the West got married through the ritual which was conceived. I should tell you the beginning of the story of marriage sacrament as it happened in this form. It was in 1987 when I came for the first time after departure of Master E.K. In 84 September I went. Thereafter I took a gap of 30 months. And after 30 months it came back to me that I should go to the West. And ever since 87 it has been a continuous visit, and this is 25th year of coming to the West and even to South America. 25 years of continuous work that has happened from 87. Earlier I was with Master E.K. from 1981, thus it becomes 30 years. From 81 to 84 it was one flow. Then there is a 30-month gap which is in tune with the Saturnian sub-period. And thereafter I chose to come during the Easter time in April 87. When I came, I first came to Geneva. Later I went to other centers in Belgium and also in Germany such as Munich, Hamburg, etc. So in 87, our brother Rudolf Schneider, he was intending to marry Sister Alice. So he asked me, is there a simple way of conducting the marriage in a Vedic style? So that has inspired me to, and when I look back into my luggage, I had a book on the marriage sacrament in its detail. The marriage sacrament is done in great detail in India, and if people have patience, marriage is conducted for 5 days also. It's not just, and the quintessence of it is just 1 hour. The rest is only elaboration of according to one's own interest. So therefore, I thought at the request of our brother Rudolf Schneider, I shall redraft the ritual in such a manner it becomes universally applicable. It doesn't have the Eastern terminology, it would have the universal or global terminology. I worked over just a night and then the ritual came through. So the next day we celebrated the marriage and conducted it in the presence of the fire, and it was very inspiring. And thereafter it picked up. This marriage sacrament is sought by many of our brothers and sisters And in fact, there are many who are here who got married through this methodology. And they all like it. And at the time of conducting the marriage, from time to time, I used to explain the significance of some of those statements. So then it came to be that, and later our sister Christina Ambak, she gave a very beautiful form to the text and gave it to me in grass leather to conduct marriage of two couples coming from her group, her three couples. So that's how it took, the text took a beautiful form. And later they were asking, from time to time you say certain things during celebration of this marriage or conduct of this marriage. Why can't there be a small book on marriage sacrament? When we completed this Mercury in a short time, in the sense we have completed it far ahead of schedule, then it came to Anna, Master, why can't we do this work, because it is being asked many times. Why can't we do this marriage sacrament? I said, okay, there is planned time, so let us do it. That's how the book is brought out with significance of marriage as is contained in the statements of the text, and also generally what is the seer's understanding of marriage sacrament for humans, which is only for humans. Sacraments are the means through which the man who is in the body transforms himself from being a beastly man to be a human. There is the beast in man, there is the human in man, and the man can transform himself as divine man. Man can be categorized into three. There are beasts in humans, there are humans in humans, there are divine in humans. That's how the three possibilities exist. And man can function with all these three. He can be functioning with the mind, the senses and the body. He can be functioning with the heart, and he can at will move up to Sahasrara and be one with the Father in the heaven. This is how he has all possibilities. Marriage enables sanctification in such a manner that the body is cultivated through certain processes. These processes are in all contained in 42 sacraments. The Aryan Dharma, which today is understood to be Hindu Dharma, all that is Aryan is ultimately renamed as Hindu. It's not that it is just Hindu Dharma. It is Aryan Dharma meant for the Aryan race. In that there are 42 sacraments. Annie Besant has been the first lady to give out in simple form all these 42 sacraments with the original text of the sacraments. You can get those books in Theosophical Society. Among those sacraments, marriage is said to be the most sublime one, because it is union of male and female energy, so that the male and female in each one of us, everyone is partly male, partly female. The male-female energy in us gets balanced when we are in association, when a male is in association with female and female with male. The idea is to rebalance and become a self-contained system of male-female, which is the ideal situation with the cosmic person. The cosmic person is a male-female God. He's called Adonai, he's called Jehovah, he's called Ardhanari. It means that the female energy and the male energy are in their optimum balance, where they are equal. Male, female are equal, and they can be equalized in every being. Then only man tends to be androgynous or hermaphrodite or an initiate. Not until then. Until male and female in each one of us is fully balanced to be a self-contained unit, one cannot call himself an initiate. That's the basis. To work it out, marriage helps. Marriage also helps the functioning of nature in perpetuation of the species. That's a very minor part. The major part is this togetherness should be able to build that kind of a balance that be it male body or female body, they tend to be androgynous and attain the status of being a son of God. Such is the very purpose of marriage, which is basically misunderstood, and it is only seen as a license for indulgence. It's not a visa for indulgence, it's a visa for self-realization. Such is the original understanding, and that is very briefly presented in this small book. And this book also is brought out in such a manner that the two rings are in such lock that it is impossible to separate them. They can at best become one, but they cannot be separated. It's very beautifully conceived, the symbol, by our brothers only. I did not suggest the symbol. Mostly I leave things to persons who are intending to work with me, that they may decide. It's not that I decide. Nothing I decide. People may think that I decide. As Evelyn said, altar. Every time they ask me, how do we build altar? What color we use? What flavor roses we use? Think and do it. To me it is acceptable, whatever you do. Insofar as you don't desecrate, everything is acceptable. That's how I have been functioning all these years. I did not impose my decision. I did not impose my ideas on others. I only inform and ask them to take decisions. Even the books, I don't decide to write them. I don't decide to print them. It is all at the instance of the members, group members. I let it happen. If they don't happen, I am not a loser. If a book doesn't come, I am not a loser. This is how I function. That is my style from the beginning. You shall respond to every call. You shall not do anything on your own. Nothing is done on my own in the whole game. In all these 25 years, I never came anywhere unless I am heartily invited. I never taught anything unless it is asked. And I go by the group decision or the collective decision. So like that, so many books have come out only because the group, they transcribe, they send it to me and request for correction so that they can be printed. Initially, money was coming through me. Now today, money also doesn't come through me. They organize money, they print it, they circulate it. That's how it happens, so very beautifully. And just I remain a witness to all that is happening. So in this context, see how beautifully one is inspired to decide and come about. This is how I get the idea, how do you like it? Mostly for any idea that comes from any brother or any member, my answer is generally yes. I don't say no. Seldom people find me saying no. So this you see how they made it. How do you separate them? That is the spirit of a marriage sacrament. So that's how it is done, and I request our sister Anna to distribute these books to those who have worked for it. Thank you.
So I would like to ask Jürgen to the dais, because he created this book, and Mercury as well.
Later you will give him a copy of Mercury.
Yes. There are many more collaborators. I have only a few books, so it's very difficult. Not everybody will get a copy who has collaborated. But I would like to give Kumari Garu a copy because I feel that so much of your experience and as a couple is in this book. And it was a great joy to read this, to receive this dictation and to stay in her house.
Ralph and Mercedes.
Yeah, Mercedes. And Rolf. So that you have something to study before you get And then to Christina Ambach, or the Gokura group who first brought it out. And then to the Belgian group, to Sita, Ellie, and Mary, because they transcribed first edition. And the group life was held there, and on the basis of that, this book came out.
So that was one pleasant job done. Coming back to the theme, for about 20 minutes, we shall continue with what has been said in the morning. That we strive to turn our mind subjective. That's all what we have to do. We strive to turn our mind subjective. This is all what is demanded of us. Is that really difficult? Is it asking for something which is impossible? Many people say the teachings are too high, they cannot be practiced. They are only ideas. All work is done by the guides, by the masters. If only we turn our mind subjective, not for all the time, for a while, just for a while, twice daily. Can this be said to be asking for too much? If it is so, not much can be done. All that is being demanded are suggested, not demanded. It is only for those who seek it is suggested. It is suggested to those who are trying to seek self-realization. No strenuous practices are given. No difficult tasks are given. You have habituated or cultivated the habit of turning the mind outward from childhood. The parents helped us to turn outward. In fact, by that the parents have only done 50% of the job, according to my understanding. When a child's mind tends to turn outward from the 5th year, the parents need to take care from the 7th year to give simple practices to turn it inward also. Mind is not only one-sided, it is two-sided. By saying two-sided, it's not being in duality. Left and right are duality. Outside, inside is what is being suggested. Many times I speak to you about that Greek god Janus, god or goddess. It's a symbol where there is a head looking this way and a head looking backward. We also unconsciously use the word at the back of our mind. At the back of my mind I had this idea. Something like that we say. At the back of my mind. What is that back of your mind? Seldom we use it. That's the problem. When mind is given to the human, we are all called men because we are bestowed with mind. We are self-conscious entities. Animals are not self-conscious. They have a kind of mind, but they are not self-conscious. When we are self-conscious, we can say, I am. We find our identity. We say, this is dog, but the dog doesn't know that it's a dog, that it's a horse. We know that I am man, I am male, I am female, I am this, I am that. We are self-conscious. This self-consciousness is a faculty of the mind only. And that mind, when it is bestowed by the Devas, it is intended to be objective and subjective. Objective and subjective. Education is supposed to train the mind not only to relate to objectivity, but also to relate to subjectivity. That is education. Such education is not prevailing, that's the whole problem. When a child is put to education, the Aryan tradition was to start with the sound Om. Om exists in all levels. Om exists in us even if you don't utter. It is Om that conducts the pulsation. Om is called Pranava. Pranava conducts prana, the pulsating principle. From pranava to prana, prana to swasa, that is how it is said. Om is being conducted in you and you are also uttering forth Om. So initiation into education is different from initiation into literacy. Today, there is more literacy and less education. People are getting more and more literate, but they are not getting educated. An educated person is one who can introspect, who can dispassionately introspect himself, who can see within as much as he sees outside. That education, since it is missing from childhood, one finds it difficult to turn it inward. Every master of wisdom only seeks that, nothing else. You turn inward, you turn to me. To me means the I am in you which is inside you. So turning inward is the fundamental step. If you turn inward, you would immediately recognize or perceive the resonance of pulsation. Busy mind cannot listen to it. Mind loaded with concepts, mind loaded with objective thoughts, mind loaded so much with other things has lost the faculty to be subjective. In the temples of masonry, they call the mind as the mind with objective light and subjective light. There is what is called objective light. There is what is called subjective light. Subjective light is subjective mind. Just as you have one trains the objective mind right from 5th year with alphabets, there is a way to train the subjective mind also concurrently. Only then it is said to be education, otherwise it is said to be literature. There were times where people have greater emphasis for education than for literacy. Literacy was secondary, education was primary. It's not so very important that you write, that you sign. It's all for objective purposes. That was how it was. The preference was education, was for education. They had different discipline, different training. If a mind is from the childhood trained inward and outward, it would be a great facility for man that he can at will turn outward, at will turn inward as well. Since it is not trained over years, and it is filled with completely with objectivity, even if we close our eyes and think of turning inward, only outside things come to us. It's a matter of training. It's a matter of training. This training we have to do. The rest can be done by the master for us. One step you make it, the rest of the steps the master would make it for you. Meaning, the work of the master is much more than the homework that is given to you. That is how it has to be understood. We think contrary. We think, in everything we think upside down. That's our speciality. It's asking for too much. Nothing is asked. Nothing is asked. If you wish to get into the realms of light, if you wish to know who you are, the only single suggestion, not a demand, is try to cultivate the subjective side to the mind. That's all. The essence of the morning teaching is only this. You turn inward. See, you see the Manipuraka chakra, the solar plexus, with its 10 petals, as is depicted appropriately in the books given by Master Jwalku. Of the 10 petals, 5 petals are depicted downward and 5 petals are depicted upward. Meaning, the 5 senses look out and they equally look in. Listening within, seeing within, tasting within, feel the touch within. The senses have that ability if you train. That's why the solar plexus lotus, 5 petals are oriented downward, 5 petals oriented downward, 5 petals oriented upward. That's the symbol. That is supposed to be our mind. When you turn the mind inward, through regular practice, only regularity in practice establishes the practice as a habit. We have not been able to walk right from the very first day. We practiced to walk. We were helped by our parents. We fell many times, we don't remember now. And now again in old age we may fall, it's another thing. We were taught to walk, but we didn't walk by ourselves. It's a regular practice of walking. So regularity establishes the habit in you and makes the practice effortless. So that simple practice is what is being suggested, not demanded. Just do that. And if we succeed turning inward, then the work starts. Then yoga starts, not until then. Adha yoga anusasanam, isn't it? Now yoga instructions. Now yoga aphorisms. Why now? What does it mean by now? Now means, now that you have learned to turn inward, you would start knowing things. There is as much a movie within as there is a movie outside. It's as much engaging as the outer movie. If you make an inner journey, it's so wonderful, so beautiful, much more beautiful than the outer journeys, because it leads you into the subtle world. So this development of subjective mind is the basic fundamental practice. When we are able to see within by turning inward, you turn inward, rest of the things will come to you. Turning inward itself, the very fundamental step, the very first step is difficult. In the morning when I spoke, I said, let us open the 3 doors and enter the first temple, meaning it's not the final temple. First temple. Enter that, then you have a different world, another world. Just as your sensory perceptions have developed into objectivity, the subtle sensory perceptions also develop into subjectivity. That's how listening for, seeing for happens. Not with the eye which has cultivated the habit of seeing out. The ear which has cultivated the habit of listening out, listening in, seeing in, tasting in, smelling in. This light, if you turn the light within, it shows within. If you turn the light outside, it shows outside. Isn't it? Torchlight, whichever way you put it, it shows the light. Turn the torch inward. Then yoga, adha yoga says. Now yoga, not before. If you turn inward. And how to turn inward also the teaching suggests. You are not able to turn inward because for long years we have tuned it to objectivity. We cannot turn inward. So turn inward, one method is catch up to respiration. Catch up to respiration. It leads you into the inner chamber of your heart. Once you are inside, the same awareness of which exists in the objective mind moves into subjective mind. If you make yourself in the subjectivity, make yourself available in the subjectivity, then the light of the Master is reachable. It cannot reach you when you are outward. That's why many masters say, if you look to me, I look to you. It doesn't mean that he doesn't look to you if you are not looking to him. If you are looking that way, how do you know that I am looking at you? The constant vigilance of a master, watchful eye of the master, you notice only when you orient to it, not otherwise. So therefore, when you turn inward, the game starts. When you turn inward and able to stay there for a while, show consistency about it, slowly the inner work starts. Not until then. So therefore, gathering outer information loads you for nothing. Practice enables you to gain it. Not gathering information from this book, that book, another book, a fourth book, a fifth book, like that. All can be gathered from within, provided you turn inward. So, the objective life that we are, the mind-oriented beings that we are, we have to cultivate the subjective side of the mind. That's the basic work. That is what is called sitting in the inner chamber, sitting in the meditation room. It's not the room outside, it is the room inside. Then, depending upon the consistency, slowly you find the light of the Master reaching you. Not the Master reaching you, the light of the Master. The presence of the Master. The touch of the Master. That's enough. It's not necessary that he appears directly. Then starts the work of transformation, which I said in the morning, the repair work. Unless you turn inward and park your being within you, it's not possible that work is done. Therefore, the single practice suggested for aspirants is that, nothing more. If you do that, what happens as information, we can be informed that we do tomorrow. When the light objective turns light subjective, what happens? Because it has to happen, and we are arriving into moments where We have to really work for it. That's why I said yesterday, at least a part of your being be dedicated to subtle. Don't engross totally into the grass, into the objective. Total engrossment into objectivity disables you to enter into subjectivity. To maintain a part of you in the subtle, you have to cultivate the habit of being into the subtle. That's why you need certain time during your daily routine to be able to close your eyes, turn inward and observe inward. Be it Bhagavad Gita, be it Master CVV or Master Jwalkul, they only say turn inward and observe and wait to see what is happening. What happens is explainable, but that would be only information. But what is important is turning inward. So turn inward is possible by regular practice, not otherwise. Choose your own time. Where you sit quiet. Which posture you take to is not important. Posture is not important. In ancient times, posture was insisted. In modern times, posture is not important. What is important is the mind's inclination to turn inward. For that, there are two ways. One is to visualize light within the heart. Another is to take to the path of respiration, reach pulsation and be there. Either way is okay. Either way is okay. Either way you have to enter the prayer hall. You have come this way or you have come that way. It's not so very important. Entering the prayer hall. Entering the prayer hall means entering the threshold of the heart center. And what is heart? We spoke in the morning. The art of the heart we spoke. Hridayam. And it gives you all the technique of the art of living. Therefore, on this first day in the group life, we remind ourselves that there is immanent need to inculcate the habit of turning inward and staying in for a while during the day. Later we see what happens. Without this, nothing can happen. With this, everything can happen. That's all what aspirants require to do. They are not given huge syllabus of working. The syllabus is for the master of wisdom who guides you. The syllabus is not for you. Your syllabus is just strive to turn inward and be there. If you can do that, the master is interested to do the rest. It is for that they are available. They are awaiting for beings who can show consistency of being within. That's all. Being within. To be within is a habit that we have to inculcate. If this is considered difficult, then please do not get into aspiration relating to the subtle, relating to the reaching the light, reaching the self-realization. All this you can for a moment put off. Because it is not demanded. It is the demand of the aspirant. Therefore, the aspirant should aspire to turn inward. Doing so many things outside is not equal to this. Inner work has greater longevity. Works done from within last long. Work done without do not last so long. Hence, this step of meditation, this is not already meditation, it's an approach to meditation. If you make this step, study can be within. And you are better able to manifest service. Effective service. A service that has longevity. It doesn't suffer infant mortality. Don't be anxious to do service. You may, but the first step is turning inward and being there. And the time is such, as I said yesterday, the time demands, we are into times which are very propitious, very opportune. Therefore, emphasis in this MayCall. Not that it is not emphasized before, much more emphasized now. Let us continue tomorrow. Thank you.